bought my first house hack when I was 24 years old. And since that moment, I haven't had to pay a mortgage payment, and their rent payment actually also covered my car payment. So since the age of 24, and I'm 28 now, I've never paid a mortgage payment from my pocket or a car payment. So that is powerful because it has allowed me to live a life where rent payment or living expenses is really not a problem, right? It's like, it doesn't even, like, it's not like it gets paid by other people. And that's the end goal. The end goal is to get all of your living expenses and food, fun, whatever. The idea is to get all your expenses paid by assets. When you do that, you become financially free. And that has been the main thing that I like teaching to millennials, is using the house hacking strategy and knowing that it's not something that you'll get rich or you become a millionaire in your first year or second year. But if you do this and you stick to the strategy for like 5 or 6 years, you can definitely become like me, where now I own 10 rental properties and I'm only 28. And I did it while working a full-time job. I did it while with all the obstacles that I've had. So it's totally doable. You just have to stick to the plan. And the first way to start is by setting up your team. So what I would recommend is find an investor-friendly realtor, because you want to do that because they're the ones that have the knowledge of the different areas of the different, they just know what a good property would look like. That's why I mentioned investor, because they also know what areas may be becoming more popular because they have also invested in the past. When you work with an investor-friendly realtor, you also get to use their resources, right? So their handyman, their contractors, all of that stuff. Maybe they have a property management company that they use. So you want to make sure that you leverage their network. The next step is, after you find your realtor, is to get a loan officer. You can talk to banks, you can talk to a credit union, and be able to see what you can afford. There are multiple programs. You can get an FHA loan, which is qualifying, putting down 3.5%. You can get a conventional loan, putting down 3 or 5%. And if you're a VA, if you're in the military, you can qualify for a VA loan, which is 0% down. So what this means is that here in Austin, I was able to buy my property that was $170K with less than $10,000, and boom, I was living for free. So having that mentality that you don't really need much money, and you can buy a property and start living for free, definitely clears up, definitely sets you up for success in the future. And the best thing is that you can qualify for up to 4 different owner-occupant homes. You just have to move to the next home once a year or every 2 years. So this allows you to be able to just put another 10 down or put another 15,000 down in a year and a half and buy another property. And then you have the choice to rent out the master bedroom where you were living or the other unit and get paid even more. So my first property is now, I'm making around $1,000 a month just in that one property after the mortgage is paid and everything. So that definitely buys you the opportunity to build on your passive income. The main step is the first thing, right? You find your investor-friendly realtor and your loan officer. After that, you get pre-qualified for a loan. And once you do that, you begin to look at homes. Because this way, now you know how much you can afford. So then what you do is you want to buy a property. If you're going to be house hacking, you want to buy a property that's either near a university. If you want to rent to students, sometimes that's a benefit because their student loans are going to be paying for the rent, or their parents. The other thing is, if you buy a home near near corporations, you're probably going to get the young people that are working around there. So for me, when I bought my property, I've had roommates that work at Apple, Intel, GM, just where I was working, Samsung, Dell. So I have all those corporations around the house that I bought. And what's great about that is that these companies are also, they have employees that are making good money. And then they also do the background checks. And one of the things that I do after, let's say I look at a home, I negotiate the deal, go through inspections and close it, I also find roommates through Craigslist or applications like Roomster. But I run a background check on everybody. It's a criminal background check and a credit check, just for the safety of myself, the roommates, and even for the people that are applying, so that they know that they're gonna live in a house with good quality roommates. If they wanna be house hacking, here's the best part. You can do, as long as you qualify for a loan in your area, it is good for anybody, right? Because even if you're starting with a young family, you can still live in a duplex, live on one side and rent out the other, right? And all you need is, depending on how much prices are in your area, you can buy a house with 10, 15, or 20,000. You can be a teacher. I've helped people that are working in corporate America, because all of this with house hacking, you can do it on your free time. You do not need to be house hacking full time. You can get roommates because like most of your tenants are also going to be working, right? So if people want to see a room that's vacant, they're probably going to look at it after work or during their lunch. And that's when you're usually available too. Anybody that has a W-2 job, this is ideal because the banks love W-2 employees when they have to qualify. So really, teacher, software developers. I helped a guy who he was in the Army and he got a VA loan. So putting zero money down, and now he's living and renting out to other people in the Army. He's living for free, and the Army also gives him a stipend for his living expenses. So he's like house hacking and hacking the VA loan program too. So really, it can be for anybody. You just really have to be okay with sacrificing a little, because some people will say, hey dude, I really don't want to live with other people. And I'm like, that's fine. You can buy a multifamily, because some people don't like living with roommates if that's more affordable in your area. But if you don't sacrifice in the beginning, you're gonna live the same life that 95% of the population are living, because they're not willing to do things different, right? There's a quote by Dave Ramsey that says, if you live for 2 years like most people don't, you live for the rest of your life like most people won't. So I've been house hacking now, and I can tell you that now with the 10 properties that I have, I'm sort of like not 100% financially independent, but really much I'm there. So I don't really have to work for money. Now everything that I do is for just like to help other people because I love it, which is a great position to be in. But I've paid already the sacrifices, right? I've done the things in the beginning that were hard, the things that my roommates were, my friends and my coworkers were like, Diego, why are you living like that? Or why don't you get a new car when obviously you can afford it? It's like, well, because I'm here to like make the decisions that I can in my 20s, so that I don't really have to work in my 30s if I don't want to. And now I know for sure that when I get to my 30s, money is not going to be an issue, but it's because I made those sacrifices in my 20s.